Ladies and gentlemen, the play is the thing. With your host, Judy Sleed. Special guest, Stephen Spataro, head of reference of the East Hampton Library. Now here's Judy.
I sure am here, everybody. The play's the thing. And I have a very handsome playmate today, Steve. So good to have you here from the library.
Thank you.
And you're going to give us a lot of information what's happening at the East Hampton Library. It's a beautiful, beautiful building with lots of nice books in it. And your capacities, you're the assistant to the director.
Well, the head of the reference department. So I pretty much would handle. I do reference at the desk, but I also handle the ordering of materials. And my staff and I, we work together to promote our programs. And I have another staff member, Ann Jones, who's our senior outreach coordinator, who does a lovely job with our, does computer classes for seniors, and she goes to Windmill 2 and has a film series that she does there 2 Fridays a month. And also, she also gives computer lessons there. So we're very happy about that. And we look to doing many, many more programs that people will enjoy. I have a number of programs coming up in the author talk department. And if you'd like, I'll mention a few of the authors that are...
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, you really mention a lot of things that you are doing. And it's very impressive. And I know Ann Jones also. She was here on my show. She's a very smart and nice lady. And you said you take care of references, like, you know, a lot of people, I imagine, call up and ask you about certain things, and you just direct them to the right direction.
Well, that would be, that's what they call I&R, information and referral. But we get a lot of phone calls and people in person that want to put various books on hold, or they'll have a question about a particular author, knowing, especially if an author had a series, to know that the series, which was the first book in the series, second book in the series. We get a lot of inquiries for films, people looking for a particular film. We also have a film series. We do at least, we screen at least 2 films per month. And
you pick those out?
Well, what I do is I select them, but also members of my staff select them, and we also are open for suggestions from patrons. And
like you have a suggestion box.
Well, when I do my films, I always ask if everybody enjoyed it and if there's anything in particular that they would like to see. And it turned out that some more international films were the route to go. So I have a Roberto Benigni film on August the 16th, but for September, I have a Francois Truffaut film at the end of September.
Oh, so you have a lot of intellectual patrons.
Well, we try to supplement the international films with some of the new films that are out, documentaries, and also some classic films from the golden era, MGM, Warner Brothers. Recently, we had a film with John Garfield, which went over really well. It was an all-star cast.
Do you remember the name?
It was called Between Two Worlds.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that, but I used to love John Garfield. He was so handsome.
It was well attended.
Yeah.
And it was a film that came out from the Warner Archive. It had never been out on DVD before. And we just tried to supplement it so that it covers all areas.
And how do you let people know that what's happening?
Well, we post our programs on our website, and inside the library we have flyers printed up, and we have 2 large screen TVs that are flashing the flyers on a regular basis. And we also press release them to the East Hampton Star, the East Hampton Press, Dan's Papers, Hamptons.com, the Independent, and there's an East Hampton calendar. It's easthampton.com, and it lists all the programs and events that are going on in the Hamptons, but our library programs are listed on there. And if someone clicks it, it goes directly to our catalog, so they could read the summary of the program and the times. And people can phone to sign up for a class, or they could sign up in person for whether it's a class, a film, an author talk.
Well, you certainly have a variety of programs, a lot of different interests. You were going to tell me about this lady who had written a book.
Oh, I have. Well, actually, we have 3 ladies coming to do author talks in September, and
in September. So this is not, you're not talking about what's going on currently.
Well, starting September the 3rd, which is a Saturday, we have Gregory Murphy coming to give an author talk. He wrote a book called Incognito, which was published by Berkeley Press, and it's a historical fiction novel set in 1911 in New York, and it received very, very good reviews, and it's for sale right now at the Bookhamptons, and it's been selling pretty well. And
so why is it special to the library?
Well, we like to have, we enjoy doing the Saturday author talks, and we've had a lot of interesting people talk about their books. We've had a number of self-published.
So this is a lady you're talking about?
Oh, this is a gentleman.
Oh, this is a gentleman. You said Gregory.
Gregory Murphy.
So he picked your library to advocate his book.
And the book's called Incognito.
Oh, but that's not Gregory.
No, this is this is the cover of the book of the novel.
Oh, that's too funny, because I kept looking and I thought it was a lady you're talking about.
No.
Okay, can I have that?
Sure.
I want to show it. Put the camera on it. Can we see this? What's the name of it?
Incognito
by
Gregory Murphy.
It says, brilliantly captures both New York high society's exquisite veneer and its brutish core. A compelling love story. Very nice. Very nice. So how many, so like you said, in September, you're going to have authors coming to the library, different authors.
Mm-hmm. Each Saturday we have a different author. It's the times of the author talks are from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And people can either call on the phone to make an appointment or a reservation, or they could come in person and sign up for a reservation. And as always, the author talks are completely free. And
must be a very well-attended function.
Mm-hmm. We get anywhere from 15 to 30 people for the author talks. Our room only fits about 30 people. So we do get a pretty good amount of people attending.
Do you turn people away?
Nope.
No.
Never had to do that. I have some others. I'll give you the September roster of author talks.
Okay.
I have Judith Weiss speaking about her book, Do Fish Sleep?
Do Fish Sleep? Yes.
And that is on September 10th. And
do they?
And I have Joyce McFadden coming up talking about her book, Your Daughter's Bedroom. It's a book about teaching young women about growing up. And I also have this one. This one is actually a Tuesday. I'm sorry, it's a Monday book talk. This is called We're Not Leaving by Dr. Benjamin Luft. And it is about 9/11 responders. It has a supplemental film that accompanies it, and it was played recently at Stony Brook Film Festival back in July, and it received a very good response.
Oh, that looks interesting also.
And I have one other one at the end of September. On September 24th, I have Abby Aronowitz. She wrote a book called Your Final Diet, and it was well received. And it's a health and beauty related topic.
Oh, yeah, that should be interesting. A lot of people would love to look beautiful.
Well, we had Charlotte Krupp in June. She had a book called How Not to Look Fat, and it was extremely well attended.
Yes, I'm
And
sure.
We actually have footage of that on our library YouTube. But we've had such a variety of author talks. We had Tom Clavin spoke about his book, One for the Ages. It was about the Masters competition.
Yeah, he was on my show.
In Augusta in '86. And we had Dr. Lou Gross. He spoke about his semi-biographical novel, Montauk Tango. And we've had quite a variety. We had Jeffrey Sussman. He spoke about his book No Mere Bagatelles, which was about Judith and Gerson
Yeah,
Lieber.
yes. As a matter of fact, Judy's supposed to come on my show. I have to call her. I remember that.
That author talk was very, very well attended.
And do you also sell books at that time?
The authors are very welcome to bring their books, and they could sell them, and they sign them, and the people enjoy that.
Yes.
We had recently Sylvia Lara. She had her book Savoring the Hamptons. And so you'd never know if it's a food book, because sometimes, like Sylvia brought crackers with caviar and shiitake mushrooms with her.
Yeah, because she has a cooking column in the paper.
And Dan's, right. And everybody enjoyed the crackers.
Yeah.
And Dr. Gross, he's a dentist in the city, but he owns the Gig Shack out in Montauk. So when he did his talk, he brought some desserts from the 668, the Gig Shack, which were delicious. They went right like that.
Yes.
But for the author talks, I usually put out refreshments. I put out drinks and popcorn, and I put out little light refreshments like croissants, cookies. But you're guaranteed, if you attend a film at the library, there's always fresh popcorn there.
Popcorn, yeah. You know, when I go to the movies, I have to have popcorn. Otherwise, what's the use of going?
You can't beat it here, because there's a very nice large screen, and it's stereo sound, and the motion pictures are absolutely free of charge. So in today's economy, where a movie at night's like $14,
right.
You come to the library, you can bring your friends, it doesn't cost anything.
Well, I sure will remember that, yes.
And you'll get to see some films maybe that haven't been on television in a while.
And I could make a request, right?
Sure.
Oh, I certainly will. There's certain movies I really like.
Well, we did a wonderful program. We had Phyllis Italiano. She came to the library twice. She's the sister of the late Anne Bancroft.
Oh.
And she did, we did 2 screenings of Anne Bancroft's films, and they were tremendously well attended. And she spoke about Anne and the making of the films, and Mel Brooks.
I wish I was there.
We showed Fatso, which Anne wrote and directed and starred in. And
she was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Anne Bancroft, yeah, she was in that film. And also we showed To Be or Not to Be, which was a remake of the Ernest Lubitsch film from the 40s. And she was in that with her husband, Mel. And
that was a comedy. Mm-hmm. Mel Gibson, he's a real...
Mel Brooks, yeah.
He's a real comedian. I mean, he's out there. Yes.
But we've had, such a variety of programs in the past, year and a half. We want to just keep continuing that. And,
yes.
Aside from the films and author talks, we also have computer classes.
Yes, that's what I want you to talk about also.
Well, we have coming up in September, I have a class all about YouTube, and people can learn about
that's for me.
putting videos on YouTube. And also what we're going to do is we're going to talk about various free softwares that can be used to edit your film and upload it onto YouTube.
So we could all become movie makers.
Everybody is a movie maker today.
And also, you're going to teach us how to make a website?
Well, we probably in future will do a little thing on maybe blogging or some general tips toward building your own website.
Yes, I understand that's very time-consuming.
But right now we have YouTube on September 20th, and we're doing Skype on September 28th. And
Skype. Is that where you could use it as a telephone?
Yeah, and you could see the person. If you do a video call, you could see them person to person.
Wow.
If you both have the cameras.
But does that cost extra to have that feature?
If each person has a Skype account, there's 2 types. You could do a non-video call where you wouldn't see the person on the other side, but if you call the 1-800 number, it would be free. And if you call somebody with an account and you both have an account, then the Skype call would be free. But what I'm looking to do is a librarian in another library and I were talking about doing a Skype class at the exact same time. And then one of us, like me Skype calling him, and then he could see my class and I could see his class. And we would do it in conjunction. It's kind of like, like Marconi or Alexander Graham Bell with the first call. It was the first interlibrary Skype call.
Oh, you're going to have to call LTV there to film it, to immortalize it. Yes.
But
that's cool.
That's a late September class, and I'm doing Facebook on October 4th. Facebook's a lot of fun.
Oh, Facebook! Everybody does Facebook, and you could have 1 million friends.
Yeah, one of the things that I like talking about when I do the Facebook is the fan clubs, because you could create a fan club, you could join a fan club, and there's just so many fan clubs out there, and it's it's a lot of fun. You have not just today's stars have fan clubs, but I mean you have remembrance fan clubs.
You got to have a fan, Judy Sleed fan club.
True.
Yeah.
And there's a Peter Finch fan club and a Sergio Franchi fan club, and you find there's a lot of John Wayne fan clubs. Any stars from the past, they all have fan clubs.
And does it mean that you have to a person has to create the fan club, and that way you will know how many people are interested?
Yep, somebody would design it, and if it's a public fan club, people can friend it, and then they would be part of the fan club, and they're able to comment
Oh,
on
I
the
would
posts.
create an Eddie Cantor fan club.
Well, you know what? It's always good to check. I mean, there could be more than one fan club out there,
I
but
know. Do
someone
you know
may
who
have
he
created
was?
one. Oh, comedian from the 1930s and singer. Singer and a comedian.
Yeah. Yes.
He had a number of popular hits. And,
Yes. With the charcoal face, the black face. He was, if you knew Susie. I know all his songs.
I think did he sing a version of Making Whoopee?
Yes,
Yeah,
he certainly did.
Yeah, that was...
Well, I should know because when I put a show on when my children were in school, and there was the PTA, and I used to put on shows once a year, and I dressed up as Eddie Cantor with a blackface, and I was singing If You Know Susie and Making Whoopee. I did that. I had so much fun doing that, and I still have all his records. I should convert it into DVD.
Into CDs?
CDs, because it's on those 45 RPM.
Mm-hmm. That was actually another class that I was contemplating doing. They have a device now that you can hook up to your laptop, where you can either hook it up to your laptop or your desktop, and you can hook your record player right up to it. And
how do you like
put
that?
them
This
right, make
technology
MP3s.
is just so amazing in such a short time. Because I was just, when you talked about John Garfield and all those movies, you watch them and they make a phone call and they go to the phone booth and put the coin in there. And today, the kids never heard of that. And you just have your cell phone and you don't have to go any place to make a phone call. It's amazing, and it wasn't such a long time ago.
No, not when you think about it. I mean, you have 2011 now, you go back 30, 35 years, people, not only did they have LPs, you had the 8-tracks and reel-to-reels, and now all that's, mainly collectors collecting that.
Yes.
But
when I was looking for my jewelry, what to wear, in my box, I found a keychain. Somebody sent me from California with a 3-cent stamp on it.
Wow. And now they're 44 cents, It's
yes, a 3-cent stamp.
Yeah. That's well, you know what I did come across not that long ago? I came across some Elvis stamps that were commemorative, and they were 22 cents.
Yes.
And I said that had to be from at least 15 years ago. But it's become a collector item.
Yeah, I remember collecting stamps, but I just can't remember where I put them. Through the years, Elvis and all those other stamps. So, have you worked in a library before you came to East Hampton?
Oh, sure. I started working in the library in 2004.
Where?
My first library that I worked in was the Islip Public Library.
Is that where you're from?
No, actually, I'm from Centereach, and right now I live in East Hampton. But the first library I worked in was Islip, and I also at one time I worked at Islip and Mastic Mauritius Shirley, and then later on Longwood. At Mastic Mauritius Shirley, I was a book and DVD cataloger. Mm-hmm. And in Longwood and Islip, I was reference librarian in those two libraries.
So you were born in...
I was born actually in Hauppauge, and then the family moved to Centereach.
So in that area, and you went to school there?
To Newfield. Mm-hmm. To Newfield, and college was... First I went to Suffolk for my associates. Mm-hmm. And then I went right from Suffolk to Stony Brook and majored in English literature, and my minor was film. Uh-huh. And then I went to St. John's for my master's in library science.
So what's your hobby? You make films? Did you ever make a film?
I never made one that I distributed commercially, but I did quite a few with the camera, you know, just novice work with the camera. And my first camera, I got my first camera, moving picture camera, probably about 15 or 16 years ago. But not that long ago, I had inherited from a relative that passed away, I inherited a Super 8 camera. That was 8mm film. That still works. And I said, you know, it would be nice, because there is still a store in the city that sells that film and would even develop it. And I said, you know, it would be nice to do something with this 8mm. There's no sound, but to do something with this camera and maybe interweave it into something digital. Because what we did was, with that 8mm camera, we found a lot of family films going back to 1939. Wow. No sound, just moving pictures, and they were all converted over to DVD. So now you don't have to worry about film breaking or anything, because they're all on a digital format. And
great.
It's, you know, looking at some of the shots of New York City in like 1961, 62, you know, it's like now you can say, hey, you know, if you're making a film and you want a flashback, you got stock footage there.
Right. Well, Steve, this time went so fast, and we talked so much about the library, I didn't have a chance to find out about you, which I like to do with all my guests. So maybe you could come back some other time and we talk about you and making films and the camera and all those interesting things. You seem like a very interesting person to know. But we sure gave a lot of plugs to the library and what's going on, which is Dennis would be happy to see. And I'm sure you're going to put this on YouTube.
Sure.
Great.
No problem.
So I'll be on YouTube more and more. And, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And thank you. And give my regards to Dennis and Ann. And this is Judy Sleed signing off from Plays the Thing. And keep on watching. You learn a lot from this show.
Very nice.
Love me.